And we are going. So welcome. I'm Jesse Swift, and I am one of the coaches on the Golden High School mountain bike team. And we are here at our spring sign up information meeting. So if you're just joining us, thank you. If you've been listening to us banter for the past 10 minutes, I apologize. So what we'll do is go ahead and get started. I am the MC of the night. I will be kind of running the slideshow from my side. Hopefully everyone can see it. And then we're going to have different people on the team pop in and answer and take care of different bits of information. It's a teamwork makes a dream work, right? So getting started, I do want to thank everyone for being here. Running the spring meeting is always tough, and then not being able to get us all together is really hard. So I know it's a nice, beautiful day out, and so I apologize that we're taking your time, but I do want to thank everyone for being here. The other thing is that if you can, please mute your mic. Nothing's worse than having someone come home and start talking to you, and it's all going out to everybody else. So make sure your mic is muted. And then if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them into the chat. We have a couple other people who are part of our team who can probably answer the questions for you. So please feel free to throw it in the chat. If you don't know how to use a chat, ask somebody under the age of 18, and I bet you money they'll be able to help you with that. And then the other thing is, right at the very end, we will open up the floor for questions. So if you have a general question that you think might be good for everybody, please feel free to ask us at the end. And then we will try to make this as fast as we can. We do have a lot of information, and I'm shooting for maybe 30 to 40 minutes. We'll see how it goes. And then last but not least, this is being recorded, and so if you have to leave or go, if you have to leave the meeting, please feel free to, and we'll just throw up the video of this on the team's website here in the next couple of days. So that way you can make sure that you get caught up in the information. So let's go ahead and get it started. So our agenda is we're going to go over the fall race season and kind of talk about that. And then we will also be talking about practice and kind of what the schedule is through the fall. We're going to talk about the clothing that we have for the team and how to get registered for the team. We're going to kind of break that down into how the team fits in with the league and fits in with the state of Colorado. We'll also cover the costs. We have something on the team called Shred, and we'll cover that. And then, as always, we're looking for people to help us. It's a big team, and it's all volunteering. So we're seeing if there are people interested in helping us out. And then we'll talk about some team communication and then our middle school development program. So I'm going to hand it over to one of our seniors, our legacy riders, Connor Logan. Why don't you tell us about the Colorado Racing League, Connor?
So, hi, everyone. I'm Connor. I'm one of our senior team captains this year. Unfortunately, I won't be able to join you guys in the races next year, but that's making me really sad because they're just so much fun, and that's what I'm going to stress the most. This style of racing is called cross-country racing, and so they go take a series of trails. Usually I'll race about 25 miles because I'm in varsity. Freshman tends to race closer to 10 miles, and they say, okay, go, and everyone goes and rides the trails and has a bunch of fun. And some people up front get really serious about it and train a bunch and spend a bunch of money on bikes and get all careful with their training plan and eating plan during the race, and other people just show up and have fun. Really, I mean, it's the most inclusive environment I've ever been to in a sporting event. Like when I go to swim meets, it's a lot of fun, but I mean, your parents just cheer for you and that's about it. And these bike races, the entire team watches the finish of every single race. And so just the cheering is just deafening. It is such a cool experience. The way the races work, we split everyone up by grade rather than JV varsity. You go freshman, sophomore, JV varsity. This year, our varsity program is about 20 people. And so if you're worried you're not in it, it's going to kind of come down to how the races run this year. And they do a pretty good job every year of making sure everyone gets sorted into the right place. Boys and girls, for the most part, tend to race on separate times, at least, usually completely separately. Some of the smaller categories will combine the two of them, but that usually works really well. And I mean, the races can be really hard. And I mean, you're out in the elements, and I remember a couple years ago, the girls got snowed on, and yet they all came back in smiling. I mean, it is such a cool environment where you can all be out there having such an amazing time together in the wild, riding your bike. So yeah, go race.
So Jesse, why don't you move us on to the next slide? I think Connor did a good job of pointing out the stoke, if you will, of how much fun the races are. And the races are a blast, and Connor's right. Everybody has a good time, and it's inclusive for everybody. That's all good stuff. I'm Connor's dad, Andy Logan, also one of the coaches. And I'm going to talk about our next slide here, which is practice. And Jesse, you've gone to away from presentation view. I'm not sure why, but don't think I can help on that. But anyhow, we can work from this. I wonder if I could. No, that's good. So practices. We changed our format last year to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic, which of course affected everything everywhere all the time, and went from our old model of just meeting as a whole team at the high school at 3:30 and then going from there, to having the groups determined in advance and meeting at the trailheads. And it worked well. It wasn't perfect. There are pros and cons of both different models. And as we see how the summer progresses with the COVID pandemic, and as people get their vaccines and then we back off on restrictions and whatnot, we will be having ongoing conversations as a coaching staff as to whether we continue with the dispersed meetings or we go to the whole team meetings. There are reasons to do it both ways, and that is not yet determined what we're going to do this fall. What I will say is that we'll start practice. We're hoping we can have a practice in early August, but we'll definitely be full time once we get back in practice, back in school August 15th. Practices will be Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3:45 and 4:45 on Thursdays. We go a little bit later on Thursdays. Later in the season, we get to October, we might have to move that Thursday one back so people aren't getting home in the dark. We'll have some clinics on Wednesday nights sprinkled through the season, as the slide says. Sometimes that'll be a trail building opportunity. We really want to push, team participation in going out and helping the community build trails. So we'll try to schedule a few of those for the season. We might have an expert on descending or jumping or bike skills come in and do a couple of things on, on a Wednesday night saying, hey, this is if you want a bunny hop, this is how you do it. Or maybe we'll have a season, a practice on a Wednesday night about how to fix bikes, and we can have an expert come in and really, give a good thing on bike fixing. We'll see how all this is more to be determined as we find out how the summer goes with COVID and what the regulations are with the school. But as Connor said, that the races are fun. I would say that the practices are fun too. As team culture, we want everybody to come and have a good time all the time. But as Jesse said early on, or maybe it was Connor, we are a cross-country team. So set expectations that the practices are about having fun. The practices are about going out and getting in shape and riding hard. We're not a downhill team. We're not we don't go to the park and catch air. We're training to race. So set that expectation, and everybody's going to have a lot of fun. We will put kids together in groups that are, that gel, hopefully, with with a coach that can work the kids a little bit, get them some good exercise, give them some good skills, and have a lot of memories and a lot of fun together as a group. And so it'll be about kind of the skills of the kids is how we put them together in groups, trying not to have just because they're good friends, have a kid who's going to win at state at varsity and another kid who's just learned how to ride probably won't be in the same group, even if they're best friends, because we want kids that can go hard together. And so we'll try to group them out. The groups will be limited to about sizes of about 8 people, not about 8 or less. And the reasoning there being that we are limited by Jeffco to groups of 8. The group is going to include 2 coaches and 6 kids. So parents, if you're listening, it's good to know that wherever we can, we're going to have 2 coaches in each group. And one of the coaches is going to be trained as a wilderness first aid responder, or not a responder, but wilderness first aid training. So safety is important. Fun is important, fitness is important, but the practices are critical. We want the kids to come to practice and really have a good time. I can go on and on about this. I would say that if you have questions about what practices look like, please feel free to reach out to me or Jesse, or we have a group that we call ourselves a steering committee, and we should probably post that somewhere. And you're welcome to reach out to any of us if you have questions about what's entailed in the practice. Jesse, I think we've probably covered that good enough. So let's move on to the next slide.
Great. Thank you very much, Andy, and thank you very much, Connor, too. All right. So Andy, tell us about the race schedule.
So the race schedule is a little different this year because we didn't have races last year. Normally we would start the first race, in late August in Frisco, and it would be the freshmen would race as freshmen and the sophomores would race as sophomores. Some of the fast sophomores would be bumped up to JV or varsity based on how they had performed as freshmen. And then, the varsity would be basically the 50 fastest boys and the 50 fastest girls based on their results from the previous season. So it's usually, would be juniors and seniors with a couple of sophomores. This year, the sophomores coming up in the fall who were freshmen this year didn't get to race. And of course, the freshmen coming in haven't raced. Half the racers, there's no way to rank them to really know who's fast and who's not. So they're having the first race is going to be an individual time trial. So with that, I'm not all the way certain how the league is going to set that up. That will be determined by the league. But the purpose of this is that everybody's going to have a chance to go out and go really hard for 2 laps. And it doesn't matter if you're a senior and you raced varsity, 2 years ago, or if you're a freshman and you've never raced before. It's going to be a 2-lap race, and it's going to be timed. And the top 50 times are going to end up being the varsity. And so if you want to race varsity this year, go hard in that time trial. That's your chance to get to be a varsity racer. Then we're going to get a break. Usually 2 weeks later, we would have the next race, and it would be in Steamboat. But so something changed last year that we didn't get to see in the races from the previous years. You used to have a North Division and a South Division. Well, the league got to be about 1,800 people, so you had 900 kids North and 900 South, roughly split around I-70. And it was getting to be too big for the venues to handle. So they split it into 2 North Divisions and 2 South Divisions. So you'll see on here at the Frisco Bay Invitational Yampa, that's us. There is another North team, which I believe is Platte, which is going to race 2 weeks later at Steamboat. So we'll have that second race weekend, the 11th and 12th, off. So families, if you've got a weekend you want to go to Moab, that's the weekend to do it. Race 3, everybody's going to come together in the Haymaker Classic in Eagle. And that's going to be where your results from the time trial is going to get you. If you really killed it as a freshman, you might be racing JV or varsity instead of racing freshman. You might be racing sophomore. I'm not sure how the league's going to handle all that, but probably your really fast freshmen will get bumped up, and your really fast sophomores who didn't get a chance to race last year. Well, this is your chance to really shine and get bumped up to JV or varsity. Probably 11th graders can plan on racing JV or varsity, and seniors the same thing. But the freshmen and the sophomores, some of them may get bumped to a higher division. And then we'll all come together again for the 4th race at Granby Ranch, which is always a fun venue. And this will be, the North regions, both divisions of the North region. And we'll be, this will be kind of the division championships, the North Division championships. Then in the past, what they've done is taken about half the racers, the top half of the racers in each division, and they get to go to states in Durango. Durango's fun. And, I'm actually going to let Connor talk about how much fun it is to race at Durango. Connor, give a couple words about what that race was like.
Durango is just the fastest race of the year. They have a figure-8 course with a flyover that's really cool, and the cameraman will sit over that. And I know racing varsity last year, right off the start, just the dust cloud was insane because you just have 50 kids going as hard as they can. And so if you make it to state, I would highly, highly suggest going. And we had some kids, I've never personally done this, but we've had some kids who don't even make it to state and just go just to be a part of the team, because you spend all day just hanging out in the tent and while a couple of you go race. And I mean, that's as much fun as the racing.
And as a spectator in Durango, as a parent, because of course I'm always a spectator, it's a blast watching them hit the crossover. As Connor said, it's a figure-8, and so they come by twice a lap. And there's kind of a tunnel, and for in one direction they go over the tunnel, in the other direction they go under it. And if you set up with a camera on the other side of the over, you could get the kids. Toby 2 years ago pulled a cool tail whip coming off the jump, and I don't know if that was really what he was supposed to do, but it was a really cool picture. So anyhow, the state championships, if you make it to Durango, I would recommend going. It's pricey. You got to buy a hotel room. It's a long weekend and stuff to watch your kids race, but parents, it's really a lot of fun. So I think we've covered racing. There will be, the league is going to have a fee to per race at $65 a race. I think we'll see that later on. You're going to have to sign up for the races with the league, and it will come from the league. There'll be a sign up for each race. And there's a cutoff. In the past, it's been like the Monday before the race. If you miss the cutoff, you're not racing. So stay on top of that. If you want your kid to go to the race, and make sure that they get signed up for the race by Monday, or they're not racing. The league is very serious about that. If you miss the cutoff, you're not racing. So be aware of that. Plan on coming to the races to have fun. There's usually the day before, there's a chance to have kind of a go out and look at the course. I forget the wording for it, but kind of a pre-ride. Just to scope out the course, either that or the morning of. There'll be an hour They rotate through the day. So, sometimes the varsity boys go first, and then the next time they'll go second, and the next time they'll go third, and it'll be the freshman girls going first. And as the season gets later, that first race is cold, so dress accordingly. But, plan to come for the whole day, even if you just go for if your kid's just racing in one race, still it's fun to watch the whole thing. So keep things moving. We'll go on to the next slide. Thank you, Jesse.
And I would just like to add that, fall in Colorado is awesome, and spending time in Eagle or Granby or Durango is always beautiful. So it's a good time of year to have these races. So, all right, moving on, we're going to have Connor, who's going to fill in for his sister Kate and talk about the kits. Connor.
All right. So, Golden High School's always had really cool kits. Last year, we switched from Primal to Castelli kits, and this year's kits are really good. I finally got to ride in mine the other day, and it is one of the nicest kits I've ever ridden. As you guys can see, we've got mountain bike and road bike jerseys. We've got bibs and then shorts, and then arm warmers, leg warmers, and a vest, and then as well as our amazing socks. Personally, I always liked the race kits where you go road bike shorts, road bike jersey. But we do recommend that everyone at least gets a jersey of some sort. And then I would say a chamois or the bottom parts are a worthy investment, because riding with a pad on your butt really does help. And so I'd make sure everyone has at least that for practice. It'll make your life a lot better. Additionally, if you feel like racing and getting really into it, the vest and the arm warmers and knee warmers can come in handy on so many occasions as well. But really, it's quite a cool kit to get. We will have a store posted later on. And we'll also have some like miscellaneous stuff. If you want to see, Mr. Swift has a bike class, and we're making all sorts of cool stuff in that as well. And so talk to him if you need miscellaneous stuff, and he has great suggestions all the time.
So I'm going to add one little bit is the pictures don't show it, but the backs of the kits and the sides of the kits have sponsors on them across the pocket on the bottom and up the sides. And it is a requirement on the team that everybody buys at least one of the jerseys. And the reason for that is our sponsors like to see their names on the jerseys when they're out riding, since they gave the team some money. So the least expensive jersey last year, I want to say it was $35-40 is the one I have on now. Everybody's got to buy one of those. If you bought one last year, again, you've checked that box. You can ride that one this year. I would recommend for kids that are into racing is I know Connor and Kate wear their bibs and their jerseys all year long, and the socks too. And you see them out on the trailers all the time. The Castelli is a pretty nice kit. If you're planning on doing a lot of riding, go ahead and get a full race kit. If you're just planning on practicing with the team and aren't that serious about it, you do have to buy the jersey. But I would strongly recommend thinking about getting the whole thing. Jesse just walked away, and it's time to change the slide, and I can't do that. Here he comes back. Oh, he's got some shorts he's showing up as well. Cool.
Yeah, and I just want to say bibs are nice. I personally like to wear the bibs, but I always wear my baggy shorts over them. And these are the baggy shorts for the team. They're just blank black shorts. So just keep that in mind too, that you don't have to, wearing the padded shorts is nice, and I wear them underneath my gear. So let's keep going. And this is our slide about costs. Did we determine who was going to cover this one?
I think Chip is going to cover this.
I've got it.
All right, Chip, thank you for taking over.
Yes. So the exciting part of the night, what everybody wants to talk about, fees. And I guess before I talk about the fees, the one thing we really want to emphasize is we want all families to try and get involved, and all riders try to get involved. If there's an issue, please talk to the team, and we can work out all kinds of different options. So that's an emphasis. I'll go over to that again. This year, $185 or $150 each for families. What will happen is you may just see $185 on the site for signing up, and then we can give you a discount if our system can allow to have two different options there. So when we say $150 each for families, that what we mean by that is if there are multiple kids in one family. So for example, 2 riders in one family, that will be $300, $150 each. Then on the 185, that'll be for everybody else, and single solitary rider for each family. goes for a lot of different things. We have fixed team expenses. There will be equipment maintenance. We have e-bikes. We have a trailer. The e-bikes are used by the coaches because we're not as fast as some of the kids, and sometimes it's good for a warm-up. We have a truck that pulls. We don't own the truck, but there's always somebody who takes the truck. We have food. Sometimes we'll have pizza after our practice. A lot of times we'll have food in the tents. So there's a lot of different things that go into this fee, and we feel it's pretty reasonable. As Andy mentioned, we will always try to get sponsorships from the community. This year is a little bit different with all the companies experienced COVID, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Reemphasizing, scholarships, discounts, or options are available. We would like everybody who wants to race or ride to be part of the team. And so just talk to one of the people that you see on this, or Jesse, and he'll put you in touch with me, and we'll get this taken care of. All riders also, as Andy and Connor went over, need to buy a team jersey. And I think that was pretty well taken care of. Colorado Mountain Bike League fee. There is a fee that needs to be paid in addition to that. And it covers all kinds of things: insurance, putting the races together, the people who run the league, the Colorado League. And I think it's a really great value. So this is non-refundable. As far as the race entry fee, same thing goes. That has to be paid. And as Andy said, there is a cutoff time. That's very, very important to make sure that you get that taken care of early. Our family always, just as soon as it came out or early in the season, we just did it all and said we were going to make every race. And the reason for that was, if for some reason we couldn't actually race, we wanted to still be there. It's just a really fun event. And if you like mountain biking, you like being outside, you're going to love the races. Also, scholarships can be applied for at the league. So talk to one of us. We'll help you through the process. We just want to emphasize that we do want everybody to be able to feel comfortable with these fees. I think that covers it. And also, as in red down there, do not pay the $150 school Golden High School fall sports fee. This is not a fee that applies to us because we're a club sport and not like football or something else.
Well, thank you very much, Chip.
Thank you.
Covered some important stuff. So let's move on. We have.
Hey, Jesse, I wanted to add one more thing.
Yeah,
quick,
yeah, go for it.
Chip did a great job of covering that. Just an observation, I guess, as much as anything else, is about the cost of the league. Is these events take about 200 people to make them happen, I think is the right number. By the time you have course marshals and you have referees and you have people setting the courses up and people tearing them down and recording the times and everything else, it takes about 200 people to run a race. So there's two pieces of saying that. One is that it's not free. They have to lease they have to lease the land from the cities. They have to pay a lot of that staff to set stuff up and tear it down. So that's why, why it costs so much. And the other thing is that they always need volunteers. So when the time comes, and we'll talk about volunteers later, race day is a great time to go and volunteer and help out with the league and help out with the team too. So just as you're thinking about the fees, also think about how much you're getting for it. You're getting a huge staff of people that are putting a huge amount of time in to put these events together.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sandy.
All right. So what we have for registration is the first thing we'll need you to do is register with the high school. And that form is live right now, and I'll throw it up in the chat, and you can start filling out that information. And then we'll take that information, and once we've got it all, we will send you an invite to Team Snap. So it's really important to get registered with the high school right now. And then after you've registered with the high school, you can sign up for the league. Andy, do you know when like a cutoff for signing up to the league would be?
Probably you can sign up with the league all the way through the end of the season if you want. But you have to be signed up with the league to practice, because that's where insurance and things like that are. So if you plan on being on the team, make sure that you have signed up with the league before you show up for a practice, because that's kind of the first requirement.
Great. And we will not collect any fees until we get the Team Snap registration completed. So all we need you to do right now is fill out this interest form. I just threw it up in the chat, And then that will help us kind of get the official registration going. So again, register with the team through the Google form, register with the league, and then once you've registered with both of those, we'll send you a team snap, and that will help get everything else officially registered. So we are doing like a little freebie right now. If you get registered in the next month or so, you'll get a free shirt for the rider in August. So please, yeah, Andy said sooner the better. So, and if you have any questions, please add them to the chat, and we'll also be answering that at the end. So after registering for the team, we have Josh, who's going to talk to us about kind of our cultural and some of the things that we like to do besides just riding and racing. So Josh, are you there to take over?
Yes.
All right, Josh. Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. Last year we tried but didn't have a lot of success with a bunch of team building opportunities. Trail building opportunities. But this year we're hoping that we can work with Jeffco more closely, and also with the gentleman that runs the cyclocross course to help him maintain that course, and which gives us kind of carte blanche use of that course when there's no actual race going on. It's a great training venue for a lot of beginners too. So we need coaches, as Jesse said earlier. So if you have any riding buddies or neighborhood buddies, please try to rope them in, because it's a fun experience. I think it's beneficial to the coach for helping people out, and also just it's fun. So that's all we have for trail maintenance and coaches. Thanks.
Yeah, and on there, we have gear. So if you need helmets or glasses or gloves or tires or even a bike, let us know, and we will find you what you need to be successful on the team. So keep that in mind too. Thank you very much, Josh. We appreciate you sharing out. You kind of run that part of the team, right, Josh? You take care of all of those kind of
Try to help. But you brought up a good point. So the community, the team community is very supportive, and so if you have a need, just reach out, and we'll try to help you out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Josh. All right, moving on. Coach recruitment. That slide's a little empty. We'll skip over that now, but we will be talking about that too. Well, I guess we could talk about it. I think this is a big team. We have last year, 70 riders plus 30 devos, so that's 100 kids. And our groups of kids can't be bigger than 6 to 8, and every group needs 2 coaches. So we need to have up to 30 adults riding with these kids. So it's really important that if there's anybody out there that has some time in the afternoons, get registered and help us out. And as not only do we need coaches, but we also need people helping us behind the scenes. Like Josh is working on the voluntary hour or the volunteer hours. We need people helping cook food. We need helping people, plan our end of the year party. So if there's anything that you can do to help the team out, please reach out to us, and we'll find a special spot for you. And how it's structured right now is we have a steering committee, and we all have certain hats that we like to wear, and try to help out using those specific hats. So if you're interested, if you have time, please reach out. Josh, would you say anything more about that?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay, Andy, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I would say that if you have a parent that wants to coach, or you are a parent and you're interested in coaching, please reach out to me. And I assume somewhere on here you've got my email address, and I'll guide you through the process of becoming a coach. And back to the chat that I'm seeing, there's no obligation. Is we understand that people have to work, and you can't make it to practice. That's okay. If you have the time, if you've got a flexible schedule and you can make the time, it's very rewarding to go out and ride with some kids. And we'll put you with a group of kids who are at a level that's fun to ride with. And the kids are great. We have an amazing, respectful, group of kids that are just fun to ride with. It's just fun to get on the trails with them. So, I mean, if that turns you cranky and you'd like to be a coach, we can always use more. There is no shame if you've got a full-time job. We understand that and you can't make it. There's nothing wrong with that either. But please reach out to me and I can guide you through the process of getting certified. Everybody does have to be certified with a league. There is some cost. You have to register with a league. It's, I forget, 15, 25 bucks. If you want, there's levels of coach certifications from, from just coming along as a volunteer to being on the steering committee or whatever. There's level 1, level 2, level 3, and there's more and more training that's associated with each. For parents to feel comfort about the coaches is there's mandatory training for all the coaches that ride with the kids on abuse, on how to help kids, things that should, there's background checks. So you should feel comfortable that you're not sending your kid out with kids that don't have, with coaches that don't have a level of training to keep everybody safe and to keep it fun. But if you'd like to be a coach and you're willing to do the training, we'd love to have you. So, please reach out to me and let me help you, guide you through that process.
Yeah, and I said this in the chat, but there is a spot in the registration that says if you're willing to volunteer for something, please let us know. So, so thank you very much.
Jesse, tell them about the cool swag that they'll get by the end of the season as a coach. Like it'll say that you are a coach.
Well, that's pretty level 2, Chip. That's your level 2.
I know. I was gonna say I don't have that swag yet.
You'll get cool street cred, if nothing else, by the end of the season.
You get specific coach jerseys for depending on the level that you are. So it's kind of some incentive and getting more certifications along the way. So.
But more important, you'll get a lot of pride.
Right. It is nice. So all right, let's move on. We have Connor is going to talk about some of the team communication we have. Thank you, Connor.
Our team, especially this last year, communication was really, really important. And things like Team Snap makes organizing practices a whole lot easier for the people who plan it. And so everybody just absolutely has to be on Team Snap. That's kind of non-negotiable. So make sure you get signed up Team Snap, make sure it's working. And then things like signing up for practices, let the coaches know how many people are coming so they can allocate coaches to groups and figure that out before the night before. Otherwise, it becomes a bit of a heck show. We do have a high school Instagram account. That one's more optional. I really enjoy following it. There's pictures of everyone. You get to post your own pictures on there. It's always a good time every time I look at it. And then the team website, the link's there, look it up. That's your place to go for any questions. That's the first place you check. There's lots of helpful links on there that can get you from anything from Colorado League information and flyers and waivers to sign, as well as what's happening in the future on the team. But again, the biggest thing I'll stress is make sure you're on the Team Snap. If you're on that, you'll kind of get through everything else because that's where everything ends up, is on the Team Snap. So make sure you're on it.
I'm going to add a little bit more to what Connor said. He's right on. It's very important on the Team Snap. And there's 2 critical functions, and he touched on it really well, is when we're planning practices and we know we have, we're always struggling to have enough coaches, and we're putting kids together in groups. And if we put 2 coaches with a group and nobody shows up, then we could have had those coaches ride with somebody else. It's really important that you sign up 2 days before so we can make that happen. That is really critical. And another critical piece is that if you're signed up there and your mom and dad's phone numbers are in there, and we hope this never happens, but something happens, that is going to be one of our primary ways of getting hold of your mom or dad to say, hey, you need to pick them up the trailhead because they broke a wheel, and hopefully it's a wheel and not an arm, So anyhow, it's the Team Snap has to be done by everybody. It's required by the team because it's a safety function, and it's really the only way we can organize the practice to make them happen. So sign up on Team Snap.
I also like to think of those days where you can't tell if it's going to rain or not. And sometimes it's 3 o'clock and all of a sudden we realize we've got to cancel practice. There's too much lightning. So those alerts would come out through Team Snap as well. So
lightning or smoke or whatever. Yeah.
Or snow. Yeah. We had snow. We had lightning, smoke, and snow canceling practices. So, all right. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Andy. Let's move on. Team Shred. Let's let Griffin Reed take over. Griffin, are you there?
Hello, everyone. I'm Griffin Reed. I want to be a junior next year. So this is my, I think, 3rd season on the team. I also served as one of the team captains last year, which was quite the weird year. But one thing about our team is that we all shred. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but it just means that, we ride bikes and we're gnarly. So, but we want to make sure that every rider shreds with us. So, first day on the team, you're going to come shred with that. That's going to happen. That's how it is. But we also use shred as an acronym, and it's pretty much just the golden rule on caffeine. Like, the golden rule is treat other people as good as you want to be treated, but this is like treat other people better than you want to be treated. So it's really just common sense out on the trail. But the first one is shred. So S, that is show up prepared. I mean, what does it mean to be prepared? There's a couple things. So it's, when you go ride your bike, you gotta have a tube, gotta have water, gotta have tools, gotta have, your bike be ready. You gotta have your chain lube, you gotta have your tires filled, you gotta have an extra tube. Make sure, if you flat, that's important to have an extra tube. Happens 1 out of 10 times, but the time that it does happen and you have a tube, you're lucky. But water's important, food's important, just a bunch of stuff that I usually have like a checklist right as soon as I leave for every single ride. I make sure I have these things that just, I might not use every time that I ride, but every one seems to come in handy several times a year. So, every one of those make sure to bring those, but also be prepared means like mentally and physically. So, physically also, don't come to practice with crutches, but, be ready to ride your bike. It's a bike team, we go out, start riding, start having fun, but also mentally, be able to, keep your head in the game, be ready for, what's coming up, a bunch of rocks, riding technical stuff. Mountain biking is a good sport, but, it takes full focus. So, I usually come to practice to get a relief from school. I'm stressed from school, but, I come to practice, I set school aside. So, because school is, takes precedence, but not over everything. So, just make sure to, come to practice with a good mindset and, be ready to ride. But then also H is head to the trail single file, meaning that cause we usually meet at like a bunch of different parking lots and all this stuff around Golden. But when we ride to the trailhead, we want to be single file because it just, in the bike community, when you ride single file, it kind of just is a representation that what you're doing. So, with that jersey on, you want to show those sponsors that, yeah, Golden's a great team. And if one of your parents is driving down the road, they're gonna see, hey, there's my kid. So they want to see you guys acting good. Single file, stopping for all stop signs, looking both ways, only crossing an intersection when the light's green. Merge with traffic. Don't cut any cars off. Don't cut any other bikes off. Just because you might not believe it, but the community is watching us. When they see a group of 8 people with Golden High School jerseys on, eyes are attracted to us. But that's H. So R is respect that jersey, and this is pretty much like the one that just incorporates all of them, and it's probably the most important too. But we're definitely one of the best teams in the state, and at every event you will hear quite a bit about Golden. So I kind of mentioned this a couple minutes ago, but when you're riding with Golden High School, with a Golden High School jersey on, you have Peak Cycles on your back, you have Thule on your back, you have Buffalo Rose on your back. So those sponsors want to be represented well. So if I see that name on that jersey, I'm gonna be like, well, great, I might go try Peak Cycles that now. And it's not just for that, but it's also, you have Golden written on your back, down your spine. So if you're pulling wheelies on the sidewalk and then another cyclist is isn't having the best day and doesn't like that, that puts a dent in our reputation. So always just act your best, and once you get to the trail, feel free to show off. That is where you ride hard, ride fast, show your true skills. But riding to the trail is where, you'll be riding through downtown Golden and everybody looks at guys with bikes and it's cool to see, right? So it's good to see a bunch of kids, young, supporting the sport, but it also comes with a privilege, because we're definitely one of the top teams in the state. So, saying on your left, have a good ride. Hope you're having a good day. And always, like, when you're descending, you stop for the people who are coming up, because it's easier to get back on the bike if you're riding down instead of riding up. But it just, in the mountain biking community, it just shows that, again, you know what's going on. That's what you just do. It's just kind of like a courtesy call. You just kind of do it just because that's how it is. But when you pass somebody, hey, thanks so much, have a good day. But all that stuff, it's not, in my opinion, not very hard at all to just do that stuff. But it honestly, when, not every time, but you might get a, hey, thanks so much. That makes me feel good. And puts a reputation on us, then steps up to the Colorado League and then says Golden's a great team, so that does a lot for us. But equality, pretty much a given, but no matter what you are, boy, girl, senior, freshman, completely new rider, you've been riding for 15 years, doesn't matter, treated with respect no matter what. I've seen a junior, some of the best on our team hang out with a freshman who's completely new to the sport, only ridden 5 days of his life. And it's more of like, it's more of like a place to just come hang out with your peers, because we all ride bikes, and we all are interested in riding bikes, and we all can talk about the same thing, and we can, it's just a place that we just go ride bikes with nice people. And instead of like a competition about I'm better than you and you're better than me, and that's not really something we want to focus on. But and then D is definitely something that is displayed in every sport everywhere in the world, right? It's display sportsmanship always. You see the best athletes in the world in the Olympics, when they win, they know how to win with grace, and congratulate the other competitors, but also losing, right? If you're one of the best in the world, you know how to lose. You've lost, you've took hard losses, but you also know how to win. So that's definitely one of the most important things if you're gonna spend your time and spend your money and just in a sport, be competitive in a sport. It's not even really if you're competitive, just if you're doing a sport. Sportsmanship is very important. But that's it, guys. Shred. And I guess, I think at the beginning of the year in August, somewhere around our first practice, you're going to be given a little like laminated card thingy that you want to keep every time that you ride with you, because quite a few coaches refer to it every practice, when we're meeting before every practice, say, what are we going to do? We're going to shred. What's that acronym mean? So got quite a time to prepare for it, but get to know that acronym, get to know used to it. So go out riding this summer and start practicing, start saying hi, start just be a good rider, be a support Golden well, and just it's good, guys.
Awesome, Griff. Thank you so much. I can really feel the passion about shredding from you on that whole presentation. Thank you very much.
For sure.
And I one thing that I want to say is I remember challenging my friends to find out how many different languages and ways we could say hello or hi as we were doing a ride. So that kind of goes up with.
That's it. Yeah.
Hey, I want to add a little bit, Griffin. That was a fantastic job of presenting shred. Thank you so much for that. But the shred really is kind of the core of the team. It's so important because we are given the privilege to ride on the trails, and we always need to remember that. And if we go out for 10 rides and we're respectful and we do all the shred rules and we're nice to everybody and we stop for everybody that's walking and we say, hi, have a nice day. And then we have one group that for whatever reason forgets to stop for a walk or something, that's the one we hear about. We hear it from the league, we hear it from the Jeffco. And again, since we are given the privilege by the community to ride the trails, it's really important that we really focus on shredding, being respectful to everybody on the trail, not just each other.
Great, thank you, Andy. All right, so let's move on. I want to talk a little bit about our sponsors that are helping us make this happen. I think Chip mentioned this in one of our emails. He said, just like a pro team, we need to respect those businesses along with our school reputation. So we are very blessed to have a bunch of community members helping out our team. And you can see the logos here, so if you're looking for a new car, go check out Stevenson. If you're trying to have dinner Friday night, go down to the Buffalo Rose. Peak Cycles is our bike shop sponsor for the year, and we get a discount of 20% off anything in the shop. And we will be placing a big order in August where you'll get cost plus about 15% on items. So if you know that you're gonna need some tires for the season, my advice is wait till August and we can place a really big order then. Bikes right now, if you've been following our industry, are really hard to come by, and Peak Cycles anticipates maybe in late August we'll get some bikes into the store. They're having a hard time. They only have a few actual bicycles in the whole thing right now. So just keep in mind that we will get discounts through Peak Cycles, and they can also help with any repairs. There's a 10% discount off for repairs, and they said that during the season they'll help you and get you to the front of the line if you have a derailleur hanger that needs to get straightened on because you crashed on Tuesday night. They'll do their best to get you rolling for the race that weekend. So so again, please make sure that you are aware that we represent these businesses and they're the businesses that are sponsoring us. So I'm going to pass this off to Andy now, and he's going to talk about our Devo team.
Okay, so our Devo team is our middle school kids, and we're going to have to cap the team at about 30 this year. We always wonder if we can just let everybody come. And the challenge that we have is that we need coaches for the Devo kids just like we do for the high school kids. So I would encourage that if you were a parent and have a high school kid and you'd like to have a kid on the Devo team, well, sign them up early because we are going to cap it, but also think about coaching as well, because it's an amazing opportunity to train you as a coach as your children progress through the high school league to coach in the high school as well. And it's really a lot of fun. The middle school kids are just a blast to ride with. So it's provided free of charge. They get a jersey out of it, which is a cool thing that they can ride around the community. They get lots of training on skills. We really emphasize with our middle school kids on skills so that they can get really good. It's just a great program. Is I think everybody that goes through it enjoys it as a rule, and it is of course the feeder program for the high school. So it's really critical to the team overall that we do Devo well, because that's where next year's freshmen are coming from, and if we want to maintain the team, we need to keep the pipeline of good riders coming through the program. So again, if you have questions, I guess reach out to me. We're looking forward to having another strong Devo team this year. We'll probably have 5 or 6 groups of kids. Typically, we will send the Devo kids to South Table Mountain and to the cross track because they're a little younger, they're smaller, they're not as fast as our older kids, and we have limits on how many kids we can put on each venue. So we probably won't be sending the Devo kids to Chimpex or something like that for practice, where we might be sending faster varsity riders and that sort of ride. But we do try to get them to other venues as well. We'll try to get them to South Table where it makes sense. We'll maybe get them over to Green Mountain once or twice. The kids have a blast. At the end, they'll have a pizza party or something they really get a kick out of. They get the jersey out of it, and they bond. We'll put them together with kids that are about the same speed, and they're riding together, and they get to know each other, and they just have a lot of fun. And I know both of my children started out with Jesse at the middle school and then with the Devo program. And they, when Connor was graduating from college, he just met him. My daughter's going to be a junior, and that's where it all started. It started out when they were in middle school, and it's it's just such a great feeder program for the kids to develop the love of being on the bikes for the rest of their lives. So we do have to cap it at 30. I'm sorry about that, but if you've got a middle school kid who wants to ride, sign them up, and we'll go from there. They will still have to sign up on the with the high school team and with the league. It's free with us. There's still going to be a registration fee with the league to be in the league, and that comes down to insurance. That's where we get our insurance. So I guess we're not quite 100% free, like we say on the slide here, but still, it's a lot of fun. And also, if the Devo kids on the team, it's we really encourage them to come to one or two of the races. The Frisco race is a good one, and I can remember when my daughter came and watched my son race at Frisco, she had a blast. I still have a great picture of her with two of the older racers who actually had won their races and had the team leader jerseys on. And I've got a picture of Kate and another one of her friends who were 8th graders at the time, standing next to 2 girls in their race leader jerseys after the Frisco thing, and they were just smiling so big. It was such a great thing. So if you have high school kids, we'd love to have you on the development teams. Let us know. And if you're a parent of a Devo kid, please consider coaching. We could really use more coaches, especially for the Devo kids. And I saw a question there. I didn't have my glasses on, so I didn't see what it said.
It was about the race schedule. The race schedule has been published, and it's like slide 3 or 4 in the presentation. But let's keep that going. Thank you very much, Andy, for talking about the Devo. So this would be a chance. I'm going to stop recording now, and then we can open this up to